well, whilst you're walking, I'll just make it quite
Are you
clear
following
for
me?
I'm not following
You're
you.
harassing me while it's private. As you could probably understand from the way I speak, I know exactly what I'm doing, sir. It's a free country. If I would like to be rude, I'm well within my rights to be rude. Okay? So go away.
Welcome back to Police Pulse UK. If you're new here, hit subscribe and join the family. Drop a like, leave a comment, and let's get straight into it. Ed was standing outside a university with a camera when the police showed up. They acted like he had done something very serious, but they had no real reason to be there. Right away, they had a bad attitude and tried to make Ed look like the troublemaker before even explaining why they stopped him. Ed stayed calm and kept asking them to explain what exactly he had done wrong. Every time the police gave a vague answer, he pushed them for the facts. Every time they pretended to have certain powers, he made them say it clearly so they couldn't take it back. The longer it went on, the more obvious it became that the police had nothing on him. They had no real reason to be there, and Ed proved it step by step just by staying calm and asking the right questions.
Alright, are you guys here for me?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, why? Can you maintain your distance there?
Can. Of course, yeah.
And also identify yourselves. Did you just switch your camera on?
Yeah.
Alright, please don't delete that. I'll be requesting a copy, alright? Also yours, please don't delete that. I'll be requesting a copy.
Deleted. Of course.
Alright, can you identify yourselves, please,
Can I
officers?
ask you first, sorry, what was your first name, my friend?
I'm not at liberty to give you that. When you approach a member of the public, you identify yourself. That's your policy, so identify yourself.
Okay. So my name is Simon Tops, Police Constable 693, Simon Tops, Avon, Somerset Police.
And yours is?
My colleague.
5512, Josh Burnell.
Alright, and what crime have I committed, or do you suspect me of committing?
Okay, what are you being so hostile?
I'm not being hostile, I'm just asking you, because when police approach me,
Yeah.
police come to deal with crimes, do they not?
Not necessarily, no.
What do they come to deal with? Civil matters?
Well, we're here to prevent crime.
So what crime do you suspect me of about to commit?
Not suggesting you're committing a crime at all. So.
Alright then.
What was your first name, so I can talk to you on first name basis?
No, it's fine, I'm not going to give you that.
Okay. Are you filming at the moment?
I am indeed, for my own
Okay, what's the
protection.
purpose of you filming?
My own purpose.
Right.
The officers walked up to Ed without any clear reason or explanation. They acted like he was supposed to stop and talk to them without them even saying why. When Ed asked them to give a proper reason for being there, they could not give a good answer. Instead, they used the word hostile to describe him. This is a common trick used by officers who cannot justify their actions. If they call someone hostile, it makes that person look like the problem instead of the officer, but asking for a legal reason is not being aggressive. It is actually the most basic and normal thing to expect from police. Ed was not looking for a fight. He simply was not going along with something that had no legal basis. The officers just did not like that he was standing his ground.
Can I ask why you're here at the
Can I ask you a question? Am I being detained?
No, you're not being detained, no.
See you later then.
But you can't go through there.
I just asked the gentleman if I could go through and he
Okay,
said yeah.
Chris?
Did you not just tell me the way to the bus station?
You did ask me where the buses are.
And left at the machine and all the way down?
I did say that.
Yeah.
Okay, can I
Okay.
just...
No, you can't actually.
Okay, well, whilst you're walking, I'll just make it quite
Are you
clear
following
for
me?
I'm not following
You're
you.
harassing me.
I'm not harassing
I'm trying
you,
to
I'm
walk
talking
away.
to
Okay,
you.
I'm going to go this way instead then.
No, if you...
So if you no, I'm going to go to the bus stop.
Okay.
Okay. Leave me alone. All right.
Okay, that's fine. If you make your way to the bus stop, that'd be great.
But I'm not going. You're not going to follow me.
What?
Which way are you going?
Sorry?
Which way are you going?
Look, if you don't want me to follow...
I'm just asking you which way you're going.
I'm not here to call...
I'm just asking you which way you're going.
It doesn't matter which way I go, I can go whichever way I like. I'm not being...
All right, I'll wait for you to go then.
I'm not being dictated to by you.
Do you know your
where
oath?
I go. All right?
Do you know your oath?
Yeah, I do.
Can you say it for me?
No,
I'll start you
I'm
off.
not going to say it to you.
I'll start you off.
I'm not here to justify my actions.
No,
to
you're
you.
here to uphold the law.
I am
Have I
upholding
broken it?
Not at the moment you haven't.
So leave me alone.
When the officers told Ed he was not being detained, he did the natural thing and started to walk away. But instead of letting him go, they followed him. That is not how it works. Either they had a legal reason to stop him or they had to let him leave. Following a free person who has done nothing wrong is not policing. It is just bullying. Ed then asked the officer to repeat his oath. This was not for show. It was a simple way of reminding the officer what his job is actually supposed to look like and what standards he agreed to follow when he put on that uniform. The officer refused. He said he did not need to justify himself. That one moment said everything. Being a police officer is not a free pass to ignore the rules whenever they become uncomfortable. The job comes with responsibilities, and refusing to even acknowledge them is a serious problem.
This isn't consensual.
That's fine.
Policing by consent. Leave me alone.
Okay, off you go then.
No, I will
Have a
go.
nice day.
I will go when I'm ready.
Okay, that's
okay.
fine.
cool.
Have a nice day.
I will. I'm actually having a lovely day.
Okay. If you could make your way to the bus station, though,
Why?
that would be great.
Why?
Okay, that's fine. I'm not here.
So why do you keep telling me what to do?
I'm not telling you what to
You
do.
are. You just said make your way to the bus station.
You
Like,
said
what
you were
right?
making your way-
Can I just ask you, what right do you have to tell me what to do when I haven't broken the law?
Okay.
You haven't got a right to tell me what to do when I haven't broken the law. So stop trying to bully me.
I'm not trying to.
Yes, you are. You're trying to tell me what to do.
I'm trying to find out why you're walking around a university
Because
with
I'm
a camera.
I'll tell you why. Because I'm allowed to.
Okay.
Photography is not a
Some
crime.
of this university is private premises.
No, it's not, bro.
It is.
Do you know?
Okay,
Are you
that's why you're wrong.
are you familiar with Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act 1972?
No, I'm not.
No,
No,
you're
not
not. But you
particularly.
should be.
Okay.
Because it's the law.
Okay.
Which says at the material time of operating, the public are allowed access, whether upon payment or not.
To where?
Anywhere that is open. This is a public space. These lines were painted by the council.
The officer started raising his voice and giving orders, as if speaking loudly meant he was right. When that did not work, he tried a different approach. He claimed Ed was on private property, hoping that would scare him into leaving. This is a common bluff used to make people back down, but Ed did not fall for it. He stayed calm, removed all emotion from the conversation, and focused on the law. He brought up Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act 1972, which is about the public's right to access certain areas. The officer clearly had no idea what Ed was talking about, and it showed immediately that is the real problem here. The officer was trying to enforce rules he did not even understand. He was working on guesswork, not actual law. Then Ed pointed to the road markings made by the council, which was clear physical proof that he was standing on a public road, not private property. The officer had no answer for that.
I think you're mistaken.
No,
This part of this
I'm not.
university is private property.
Can I just ask you
There
another
is
something?
public access
If I
to
was to
part
say
of
to
the
you,
university.
if I was to say to you, I'm not going anywhere, what could you do?
Sorry?
If I was to say to you, I'm not going to leave now, what could you do?
Well, I don't intend to do anything.
You
at the
couldn't.
moment.
You couldn't do anything because I haven't broken the law. When those guys rang you and reported a crime, what you should have said to them is, "It's not breaking
They
the
have
law."
reported a crime.
What did they do?
Reported a suspicious person filming at a university campus.
Is photography a crime? You're recording. You're
Well,
recording.
I don't know.
You guys.
How
Let me
do
just
I know
say.
that you're not filming for terrorist
Do you know?
purposes?
You see that on your uniform?
Yep.
That thin blue line thing.
How
That is
do
an utter disgrace.
How do I know?
You disgrace the country with that.
How do I know that you're not filming for terrorist purposes?
Sir, we
for
go.
example?
Sir, we go on what we do know, what we don't, not what we don't.
Well, not necessarily.
No,
That's again
so-
where you're wrong. Isn't
Okay,
It?
so what reasonable suspicion do you have that I'm a terrorist,
Well,
sir?
you're filming a university campus.
So you're
with a
trying to get me
camera.
on Section 43?
No, I'm not.
So why did you mention it then?
Well, because I'm just explaining that you seem to think that I can only act when a crime's been reported. but
No. You're more than willing to come up to me and ask me.
Yeah.
If you can articulate reasonable suspicion that I may be a terrorist,
Well, you're walking around a university campus with a camera.
this is a uni.
And you won't explain why.
but I don't have to.
Just because a security guard thinks someone looks suspicious does not mean a crime has taken place. In this case, it simply meant that someone did not like being filmed. When Ed asked them to name an actual crime he had committed, they went quiet because they had nothing to say. So instead, they played the terrorist card. They tried to suggest that Ed could be a terrorist in order to make the stop seem justified. This is a weak and fear-based argument used when officers know they have no real legal ground to stand on. It is not proper reasoning. It is just guessing and using fear to make it sound serious. Real policing is supposed to be based on facts that can actually be seen and proven, not made up worst-case scenarios. If the only thing they can point to is a man filming in a public place, they have not caught a criminal. They have simply shown that they cannot handle a member of the public who knows his rights and refuses to be pushed around.
Well, then that gives me suspicion of what your activity is.
So you think I'm a terrorist? You have reasonable suspicion that I am up to terrorist activities.
I don't know why.
I'm not engaged in any
why are you
hostile
filming?
reconnaissance because I can, as my rights allow me to. Is this not a free country?
Yeah. But
So, and am I not allowed to own a camera?
You are allowed to.
You're
own a camera.
filming. What's the difference between
You're
you
allowed
and
to own a
I?
camera, and you're allowed to film.
What's
and
the
I'm not-
difference between you
and
and
I'm not preventing you
why,
from doing that.
But why
I'm
are you
not
accusing me of
asking
being
for
a
the camera.
terrorist then?
I'm not accusing you of being
Well, why
a
are you saying I'm
terrorist.
suspicious?
I'm just saying there are some concerns about your
What concerns?
nature of why you're filming
What
in an empty
concerns?
university.
What concerns?
But then it gives me suspicion for why you're here with a camera.
Suspicion is not a crime.
No, but it gives me grounds to do certain things if I feel it necessary.
Are you threatening me?
I'm not threatening you.
So
I'm
what do you mean
explaining
then?
what the law is.
Well, you don't know the law because that's not
Well,
right.
I think I do.
Well, tell me what reasonable suspicion you have.
Well, why are you filming a university when it's
I'm not
closed
telling you.
with a camera?
I'm not telling you.
Okay, well then I'm suspicious.
That's fine. You can be suspicious.
I can, yeah.
Yeah, you can.
But then I can also act on that suspicion
No, you
if I
can't.
feel it appropriate.
You can. Yeah, you can, and I'll sue you.
Okay, well, but that's my decision.
Yeah, I know. When you'll lose your job.
Well, I'm not doing that, am I?
No, because you're scared
But
to.
you're not helping our cause.
I don't
here,
have
are
to
you?
help you.
Ed found himself going around in circles because the officers kept acting like "I don't like it" was a good enough legal reason to stop him. Ed pointed out how ridiculous this was. The officers themselves were filming him, yet they treated his camera like it was dangerous. That hypocrisy made it very clear what was really going on. This was never about security. It was about control. One officer even claimed that his own suspicion was enough reason to detain Ed. That is a complete misuse of the law. Suspicion alone does not give an officer the right to do whatever he wants. The suspicion has to be reasonable, based on real observable facts, and linked to a specific crime. By saying otherwise, the officer basically admitted that he was acting on personal feelings rather than the law. That is not policing. That is just an officer using his badge to get his own way.
I don't have to help you, do I?
You don't have to.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, okay. I think we understand where we are.
I know where I understand where I am. I know the law. You don't. You those gentlemen over there, the guys who called the police, whoever called the police, I suggest you go and speak to them about Section 5 of the Criminal Law Act 1967, making a false report, because that's wasting police time, which is actually a criminal offence.
Okay. It's been nice talking to you. If you're heading towards the bus stop, then
I'll go wherever I like.
Have a lovely day.
I'll go wherever I like.
Well, you won't go wherever you like.
I will, indeed.
Because parts of this...
I'll go anywhere that is publicly accessible. I will go.
Yeah.
Yeah? And no one will stop me.
Yeah.
Not those guys up there. Not you guys
but what
either.
you need to understand at the moment...
I don't need to understand anything. I know the law.
So do I.
Yeah, no you don't.
So do I, okay?
You don't. You don't even know what Criminal Justice Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act 1972 is. Do you know it?
This is a
You
private...
need to know the ins and outs.
Of course you know. Of course, if you're gonna uphold the law, you have to know the ins and outs of the law. How can you tell me that you don't have to know the ins and outs of the law, but then you're here to uphold it? How does that make sense?
Ed did not just defend himself. He turned the situation around. He pointed out that if anyone had done something wrong, it was the person who made the false report against him in the first place. But the police completely ignored this. They did not want to look into Section 5 of the Criminal Law Act 1967, which covers wasting police time. They were happy to question a man with a camera but had no interest in questioning the person who actually caused the whole situation. When the officers told Ed he could not be there, Ed corrected them and explained his public access rights clearly. Then came the most shocking moment of the whole interaction. The officer actually admitted that he does not need to know the details of the law in order to enforce it. That is an extraordinary thing to say. It is basically an admission that the officer was not acting based on the law at all. He was just using his authority to get what he wanted, whether it was legal or not. That is a serious problem.
You're even in Somerset Constabulary, innit?
Okay.
Absolute joke.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
I haven't enjoyed myself, actually. You've ruined my day. So go away now, please.
Parts of the university are private premises. There are public access routes.
I won't go anywhere that is private. I haven't been anywhere that's private, and I will not go anywhere that's private. As you could probably understand from the way I speak, I know exactly what I'm doing, sir. I know the laws that surround what I'm doing. I don't appreciate you accusing me of being a terrorist.
Well,
what's your number again?
I've not accused you of being a terrorist. I've explained.
693. You threatened
No,
me.
I
You
haven't.
said, "Oh, now I've got reason."
I've not threatened you
listen,
at all.
The camera doesn't lie.
I've not threatened you.
The camera doesn't
You
lie.
can play your camera back.
I will. I'll be playing it to your superior.
I'm just explaining that if you're filming an empty university that's actually closed at the moment, the university's actually closed. All right, to the students. It's
I'm not a
closed,
student.
It's closed to staff.
I'm not staff.
So why are you here?
I'm a member of the public, and I'm in a publicly accessible area.
Right.
That's why I'm here.
Well, that's fine. If you want to film
I know it's fine.
in open public spaces.
Yeah, and I'm allowed.
That's fine, but you won't be filming inside buildings.
I don't want to film inside a building.
And if you trespass in private property,
It's a civil matter. Are you telling me that you're gonna do something for a civil matter?
I will do.
Okay. Okay, cool.
When the officers started talking about what might happen if Ed entered the building, he was not doing real police work. He was simply making things up to put pressure on Ed where there was no real reason to do so. He was using a hypothetical situation that had not even happened to try and threaten Ed. To be clear, trespassing is a civil matter. It is not a criminal issue unless there are very serious circumstances involved. The police do not have the right to threaten someone over a dispute that has not even taken place. Ed was not sneaking past security. He was not inside the building. He was not breaking any lawful order. By threatening Ed over a crime that did not exist, the officer only showed how desperate he was to find any reason to make Ed leave. He had nothing real to work with, so he started inventing problems instead.
And that's another
Security
complaint.
asked you to leave a private
They
premises and you
but I
refused.
haven't been on private property.
And you refused.
But I haven't
to.
been on private property.
Then I'll have
Sir,
to consider
listen.
my powers under the breach of the peace.
Oh, so now you're threatening me for a crime that listen, what part of my behaviour is threatening or abusive?
Well, nothing at the moment.
Okay, so don't threaten me with something that
I'm not
hasn't
threatening
happened
you.
or that isn't going to happen.
I also
you
know
are.
the
That's,
law.
no, listen, you're
Okay.
just threatening me with breach of the peace when a breach of the peace isn't going to happen
Well,
because
one
I'm
of
not
my
acting in.
fundamental roles is to prevent a breach of the peace.
Yeah, but there's going to be no breach of the peace because I'm not acting in a
That's
threatening
right.
or abusive
So
behaviour.
All I'm saying is don't go into private
I could-
premises,
listen,
don't film in the
how many
buildings.
times do you want to say that?
Okay, otherwise...
How many times do you want to say that, considering the fact that I said it?
And then I'll have to support them to prevent a breach of the peace, is all I'm saying.
That's fine. You
And
could
that's
do.
me knowing my law.
That's fine. You could do that, but
Yeah,
I promise you that if the course of action that you've just stated happens, I'll sue you.
Well, that's fine. You're entitled to sue
And I'm
me.
going to make a complaint. 3 complaints in this 8 minutes 46 seconds, and 3 complaints about you. You're smart for keeping your mouth shut.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
You can complain.
See you later then, guys. Go.
Okay.
Be gone.
Out of nowhere, the officer brought up breach of the peace, hoping that using the phrase would make his weak argument sound more serious. But breach of the peace is not a general tool that officers can use whenever they feel like it. It is meant for situations where violence is actually about to happen. Ed went straight to the most important question. He asked what exactly he had done that was threatening or abusive. The officer's answer said it all. He admitted that Ed had done nothing of the sort at that moment. That single admission completely destroyed his own argument. You cannot warn someone about breach of the peace while at the same time admitting they are not doing anything wrong. It makes no sense. Without any threatening behavior, aggressive actions, or a dangerous crowd, using breach of the peace is not responsible policing. It is just another desperate attempt to find something, anything, to use against Ed when there is clearly nothing there.
There's no need to be rude.
I'm not being rude.
Okay.
Plus, is rudeness a crime? Is it a free country? If I would like to be rude, I'm well within my rights to be rude.
Okay.
Okay? So go away, please, and leave me alone. You're
All right.
harassing me.
Okay, that's fine. Thank
All
you
right?
very much.
Go away now. Told me I can't record in there, so now I'm going to have to walk round. You inform these guys that photography is not a crime as well, yeah? Educate these guys on the law. No, you're here. You're a public servant. You're here to uphold the law.
Yep.
These guys have broken the law by filing a false report.
They haven't,
Okay?
no.
Yes, they have.
Okay.
Yes, they have. They reported a crime when there wasn't a crime being committed. They made a false report. It is a breach of Section 5 of the Criminal Law Act 1967, and you are failing in your job right now,
Okay.
officer,
Well,
constable.
Thanks very much. It's been very nice talking to you. If you can maintain yourself on the public places,
I'll go wherever I like. Thank you.
You know what my position is.
I'll
in
go
relation
wherever.
to
Yeah, you made threats. You made a threat of
I've not made
arrest.
a threat.
You did. You made an illegal threat of arrest. Bullies, guys.
The ending was not a big dramatic moment. Instead, the officers simply walked away towards the security building, quietly giving up. After all the attitude, the fake suspicion, the vague threats, and the legal bluffing, they left with nothing. They never addressed the fact that the original report against Ed was completely false. They held Ed to a very high standard but let the person who made the false report walk away without any consequences. That says everything. You could see the exact moment they lost control of the situation. They started the encounter acting like they owned the street, giving orders and making threats. But they ended it with nothing. No detention, no search, no actual offense to point to. They were too proud to admit they were wrong, so they just quietly slipped away. During the conversation, Ed reminded them that photography is not a crime and that the people who made the false report had actually broken the law under Section 5 of the Criminal Law Act 1967. He told the officer directly that by not acting on that, he was failing in his duty. The officer's only response was to tell Ed to stay in public places, to which Ed simply replied that he would go wherever he liked. Ed also called out the illegal threat of arrest the officer had made. As they walked away, Ed summed it up in one word. Bullies. When Ed turned and walked away, it was not a retreat. It was the end of an encounter that had no legal basis from the very beginning. That was Police Pulse UK. See you in the next one.